This is Vinyl Vault. It's a hardcore collector's music database for storing all your albums, 12 inches, CDs, box sets, etc. into one place. Now, I vibe coded this in CodeX, but there's a lot of misjudgment about vibe coding that people think you just go build me an app that does a database and bosh, there's your database looking like this, beautiful layout, absolutely pristine, crisp, knows exactly what you want. You couldn't be further from the truth if you think that is what vibe coding is. There's a lot of people on YouTube who talk a lot about vibe coding. I've watched loads of videos, but none of them actually show you any program they've actually made. And if it is, it's usually some rubbish tosh program. They'll talk about this and they'll talk about that and they'll want you to sign up because that's how they make their money. But this actually demonstrates what you can actually do. Let's take a look at this app that I vibe coded. When you first start up Vinyl Vault and you have nothing in your collection, you'll know that because your totals, formats and artists will equal 0. Then you'll be taken to this page. This page will not show if you have items in your database, and you'll automatically go to the Add, Edit, Release page where you can continue to add information to the database. So the first thing I suggest you do is you get a Discogs API token, because it will save you a lot of typing of certain information. Obviously you have to type in an artist, a title and a format to use Discogs so it can pull that information. But all the rest of the information will be dragged down from Discogs into the database. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to paste our token in and save it. Now you only have to save this once because it's saved into the program and it says there Discog token saved. So let's load up a database and let's see what we got. So now our database is loaded. You can see I have 1,766 records, CDs, 12 inches in my collection. And now I've used 18 different types of format and I've got 168 different types of artists. And that's what it says my value is of my current collection. Now you can save your database. Now what this does is this overwrites without a prompt, which I'm probably going to change. So I'm going to use this with caution because as soon as you save a database, it overwrites the previous database. Probably not good practice. But you can export the JSON file to anywhere you like. So if I wanted to make a backup right now, I could export that JSON file to anywhere I want on my computer, whereas the saved database saves it to a particular spot that Vinyl Vault needs to load in every time the program loads. Reset drop-downs. When you get into the database, when I show you, you'll see that there's dynamic drop-downs that you can add information to. Basically what this will do is it will remove any information you have added to those drop downs and they will revert back to default. Some of those will have no information. Some of them, like for argument's sake, countries and record labels and formats will be back to the default. But you can add to them because they are dynamic drop downs. Clear local data. Basically what this does is it will clear your database and it will also clear the API token. It will also clear all the drop down boxes completely. So it's basically starting from afresh. So if I was to do that, it will give me a warning and I can clear it and it will take me to this page and you can see that I cannot click on any of the formats because there's nothing there. There's no next or previous and that I have to start afresh from a blank page. But obviously I would need to go and paste my API token back in and save it because it's gone. And then I can go back to the edit release page and then we start entering your first record or CD or whatever. Once you arrive on the collection data entry add edit release page, you will be presented with this form that you fill out for your various album, 12-inch CD, box set, etc. Things like artist, title, format, genre, record label, the barcode, the vinyl colour, etc, etc. There is only one rule that applies to this page, and that is you have to have an artist, a title and a format. If any of those three are missing, you cannot save it and proceed to the next entry. Adding information to the data entry page is quite straightforward. You just type out the relevant information that is relevant to you, be it the artist, the title, the format, the three mandatories, and then the rest you can type in catalogue number, the barcode, the vinyl colour, the limited edition, whatever suits your album, 12-inch, box set, DVD. These boxes are dynamic and they are dynamic drop downs. Basically what that means is every time you add something in here, it is added to this list, and you can choose from that list to save you keep typing the same information over and over again. So if I say Jean-Michel Jarre, you'll see I have Jean-Michel Jarre with his various people that he's worked with, but I will just click Jean-Michel Jarre and we'll type Oxygen and we'll say that is an album. You can of course fill in any of the other boxes that are relevant to your release and to your requirements. If you have a Discogs API key and you don't want to fill out all this manually, you can of course search Discogs and it will fill in the relevant boxes. Now this is only going to fill out what that particular person entered on Discogs. So if they never entered the catalogue number or the barcode, for argument's sake, for your particular release, then it will not show and you will have to put that in after. But it does save you typing out most of the information. So let's search Discogs for this Jean-Michel Jarre album. And the one I'm going to pick is this one. And there you can see it's filled out these particular boxes for me. We can also look at the track listing. And you can see that on the A side, it's parts 1 to 3. And on the B side, it's parts 4 to 6. And we shall apply these tracks. And there you have it. The track listing function is also part of what Discogs downloads. So if we click on track listing, you can see that there is a track listing available. Unfortunately, the person who entered this on Discogs didn't give any duration times, which there never usually are when it's vinyl. For some unknown reason, they never type them in. Even if it's on the cover, they still don't type them in. Now, there's a couple of things you can do with this. If we wanted to add a header to the top of this and say side A, and one here to say side B, we can do that. So we can click in this box and then we can add a header above it and we can type in side A. And then I'll just click anywhere outside and that will save it above. And then we do the same with the B. Where the B starts, we add a header. The header is always above it. And we type in side B. And then again, we click out anywhere. And there you have it. There you have your A's and your B sides sorted. And that's how you use the track listing box. Another section on the data entry page is release credits. And if we click into this, you'll see that this gives release credits. Basically, who the band members are at that particular time, who the songwriters are, who the producers are, and the engineers, and any other relevant information like where it was recorded or who it was mixed by or mastered by. Again, this is only available to what the person who entered this particular release on Discogs. A lot of the times it does get the band members wrong, and they may not be the band members, they may be like session musicians, and they'll be put into the band members section. I probably need to refine the way I'm pulling the information off of Discogs, but for the time being, about 75% of the time, it works fine. Again, not all the information is pulled, basically because it's not entered. And unless you fill that in yourself, or you want to go through it, or you're that way inclined to do it, then that's down to you. Again, all of these are dynamic boxes. So if we look into this box, if I was to type in a new box, for argument's sake, you'll see that there's all these people that are band members. And then here we could click in, you'll see that it says flood. Here we could go down here, and these are basically all the producers for all the albums that I've typed in. Co-producers, there's only a few. Assistant engineers, there's a few more. Recording studios. But again, it will be entered and it will be saved to save you typing it in again. So when the next release comes out, if Discogs doesn't pull that information and you don't want to keep typing in Alan Wilder, Andrew Fletcher, Dave Gaham, Martin Gore, you can just type in AL and it will bring up any name with AL, and you just click on Alan Wilder and that name will appear. So I'll give you an example right now. If I type in AL, Alan Wilder happens to be at the first of the top of the list, and that is the release credits section. Just to give you a rundown of the side panels, you have your add, edit, release, which is what we're on at the moment. Your import, export, which is the first page you'll be taken to if you have no data in there, or where you save your database. You have your total amount of items that you've put into your collection. The number of formats, I have 18. The number of artists, 171. And the value of your current collection if you fill that value box in there. And this is where the image is stored. And we can click on that. You'll notice that a little plus sign has appeared. And if we click on that, then the image enlarges. Click anywhere outside and it disappears and brings you back. And then you have a small rundown of the details panel on the right hand side, which is all this info here. And that is the side panels. The format catalogue is a list of all your releases on that particular format, be it an album, a 7-inch, a 10-inch, a CD, a cassette, a DVD, or a flexi disc. Basically, it's a cut down list, and it just tells you some small information about that particular release, which is the artist, the title, the format, the genre, the release date, the label, the catalogue number, then the number of tracks. And you'll notice there's an I next to all of them, and that brings up the release credits. And on this particular release, I have not entered anything or pulled any information from Discogs. You can, of course, enlarge the image again, like you can on the Add, Edit, Release page. And you do have your small details panel here. You can, of course, search for anything. This is a dynamic search. So you could type in, what records have I got on the ZTT label? And there you have it. That's all the albums I have on the ZTT label. I could find out what are all the genres of pop I have. And that will tell me all of them. Now you'll notice that one of them is funk here. It's because it's found Pop Life in Prince's track. Because it's dynamic, that's the reason why. So that is a quick rundown of the format catalogue section. So that's basically a quick rundown of how to use Vinyl Vault. Maybe one day I might chuck this out into the open, depending on what sort of feedback I get on this YouTube video. Hopefully it'll be quite good. Thanks for watching.